game number 1 here for the ESL March 2015 Finals of the Go4 series. We're going to jump into the draft.
Boom. Immediately. Illidan banned. No surprise, though. No surprise.
Yeah, there we go. So that's Vortex actually starting things off then. And once more, again, into the Tomb of the Spider Queen. You got the video there playing in the background. If you don't know about it, it's a very close-ranged map. You got to gain those things that just kind of spilled out there onto the floor, those gems. Turn in the gems, get spiders. Die, lose gems, well, nobody's going to be happy with you on the team.
You get the spiders.
And that's why I'm thinking, it's you cannot play passively here. If you play passive, you're going to start losing out on turn-ins. You then lose out on map control. Might not be kills, but I mean, you can actually go for a 0-kill game as long as you lose your core. The enemy still wins.
That's very true. Very true. And the other good thing to note about this map is that there are 2 turn-in spots that you have to control at all times if you want to like keep a tight lock on that. And they're I believe they're all surrounded completely by vents that you can't see through. So you need to, maybe that means that Zagara and scouting drone heroes are a lot more highly prioritized. Look at that Taranja ban.
Yeah, nobody wants to deal with the Archer of old.
The combo character, it would seem.
A very quick first
very
pick.
Well.
I'm here.
My God, Jaina, man, how do you feel about Jaina this patch?
Oh my goodness, she's went from being like a kind of a niche pick, okay, maybe 4th, 5th pick on any of these teams, but now she got straight buffs to all of her abilities, just raw damage buffs. And then she's a lot better at clearing some of the bosses and objectives for each of the map because her passive applies to those bosses to get that extra damage output, and slow, of course. So those are just overall really nice things for her to have. And it just turns out that she's now banned in first pick very, very often. And for good reason.
I did some EU this morning, and she was actually amongst the picks, but she did actually suffer a few bans this morning as well. So
yeah,
I think she's just absolutely in a very strong position right now. She complements a lot of blow-up comps, and you're going to need a blow-up comp on this map because it's going to be fights and fights and fights. And look at that. Sylvanas, without a doubt, the first pick round here for Wild Growth, but they're going to pair it with Vala as well. That is a heck of a back line.
Yeah, that is some very, very solid range damage, as you were mentioning. But I'm more curious, like you mentioned, about the blow-up comps. And how heavily are we going to see things or heroes like Diablo and Kerrigan prioritized, perhaps? I would think that especially Kerrigan, not so heavily picked on some of the other maps, maybe, but who knows? We might see more often now. And it looks as though we're just seeing some very standard, just solid damage output. Tassadar, Uther for the heals. No one is really jumping on a particular strategy.
Well, you mentioned Kerrigan, and if you can't do a nurturing comp on the Illidan, who could you replace that melee DPS with on this map? And having now both these ranged supports, that I think we actually could see a Kerrigan here.
Yeah, very, very possible. All right, so Wild Growth. Yeah, how do you think Sylvanas is going to play into all this? This is the first time I've personally been casting any series that have had Sylvanas playable in it, and just that Wailing Arrow is, God, it changes things so much.
It's very hit or miss. I mean, I was talking on a podcast about it last night. I mean, point blank, it's almost guaranteed to hit, but so will Malfurion on it. And so when it comes to that range detonatable, if people see it coming and they got those escape mechanisms, it could completely whiff. And that is a big detriment to the Sylvanas. But if it hits, it can definitely turn around games for sure. The black arrows with the passive just stomping out buildings and the creep waves, I doubt we're really going to see a possession. It's just not good enough in its current form really to warrant at this point. Yeah. Especially on a map that depends on so much on team fighting.
Exactly. And the close quarters, it's just too easy to rotate. Like, I would think to make the most use out of possession, you're going to have to spend a lot of time building up that creep wave, constantly throwing down that 4-second cooldown to steal those waves and just build up a huge creep wave. But it's too easy for the other team to rotate down. They just take 3 steps and they're in the next lane. So it would be pretty easy to shut that strategy down. I think 100% chance we're going to see that silence. It's just too impactful in the team fights that we're for sure going to see a ton of.
All right, so we already have our first victory here in the Go4Heroes.
Oh my goodness!
America's monthly final. Shattered Gaming and 404 is literally not found. So Shattered Gaming moves on to the quarterfinals, which means we have our top 8 ready to go. Kind of throws a wrench in our proposed plan that we were talking about, but good luck to Shattered and Goon Squad as they're about to face off.
Yep. Hey, Malfurion. I see the Diablo, and I was wondering if they were going to try to shoot to pair that up with something that's a little bit more lockdown heavy. I'm not sure that just Diablo and Malf will be enough, so I'm gonna keep an eye on that last pick for Wild Growth to see if they grab something that's a little more stun heavy.
It's not going to be the Kerrigan. It's going to be the Thrall instead.
Okay.
Thrall was having some play in the EU finals, wasn't it? Just this week.
Yes, I think so. And it was actually paired with Arthas, as I understand it, that's pretty interesting. We didn't see any Thrall, but we were sort of theory crafting a little bit about how Thrall might be seen a little bit more now, because he did see some healing buffs, a little bit more mana usage. But I mean, I guess if you're smart about that and pair it up and make sure that you're picking and choosing the right opportunities to go in, you can get some work done.
So, I mean, we talked about the Kerrigan. It ended up being the Thrall. I mean, I have to assume, is this going to be Sunder? Is this going to be Earthquake? We got the Judgment there from the Tyrael. So Tyrael into Sunder into the Earthquake. Which, is it going to be Shield? Maybe Sanctification? It's a double invulnerability count. There's a lot of ways to go with this.
There is.
But you got to keep that Thrall up. He's definitely going to be a very key figure on that front line. Yeah,
he does fit into that sort of Illidan / Kerrigan style that we were talking about earlier in the draft, and I think there's absolutely a lot of room for Divine Shield.
There's just a Gara that you're looking for.
Okay.
So those creep tumors are going to be invaluable when it comes to scouting out a lot of those. In terms of who has a scouting drone, I'm not sure any of these guys actually have a scouting drone.
I think, and they've already got, so they've got a huge leg up in terms of vision.
But we also have an Oracle ready to go for Cloud9 Vortex. And as we said, it's definitely a little bit more of a smaller map. So the Oracle on demand will definitely be used great for scouting purposes. The Toronto with the ban means that there's no Owl game. But past that, yeah, those are going to be your game 1 drafts, ladies and gentlemen, as we are about to jump into this. They're talking about my MySpace in chat, and I have no idea why. I don't have a MySpace.
Oh, God.
I'm not a 16-year-old girl, guys. Yeah, that's a throwback by itself. Yeah.
That is a throwback. All right, I think we're good to go. I guess we'll let them know that we are ready. So, yeah, the other thing to mention is Clairvoyance as well, that Uther could take if he wanted to, if they really wanted to have a crazy vision battle. But I don't know. We haven't even seen this map played. Who knows what kind of strategies these teams are going to throw at it, and whether they're really even prioritizing the objective. The objective is good with the Web Weavers. If they're sort of assisted, they can get a lot of work done, but they're also quite frail. And they can go down quickly if there's some heavy rotations from the enemy team.
Early turn-ins typically don't net you too much in the grand scheme of things. It's like getting an early Grave Golem, early Bruisers. I mean, it's more just the pressure so you can go and grab other things. Grab a level experience. Go grab some other mercenaries. Something along those lines. But, as I said, this is extremely new to me. This map, it's a breath of fresh air. I'm absolutely tickled pink that we get to see it here for game number 1. And we're loading in now, guys. Tomb of the Spider Queen. Collect them gems, get them spiders, and join the Kubi and FourCourt here for our first game of the day of the March Finals.
Get to listen to us trip up on Web Weavers. I'll see how many times we can say that fast.
At least there's no Web Wraps to go with the Web Reavers. Oh, I already see
there it is.
Web Reavers. Blizzard, please, we need to now petition Web Reavers. Just make it so. Oh, I'm not using 0.8. I'm using 0.7. Can I change that on the fly? No, I cannot. All right, so I will not have counters in the corners, apparently. I don't know what happened to my 0.08 file, but Kubi, maybe you can keep us up to date on that as we look at the blue team. Guys, a team that has been around for a while in some shape or another. Fan, Tazza, Zizix, Bobby, Hank Hill, and Syracuse are going to be making up Cloud9 Vortex.
That's right, and let's head on over to the red side. We can introduce Wild Growth here. We actually got to see them play in a best of 5 versus 2 gaming last night. It was a lot of fun to watch. Playing for them, we have, oh my gosh, don't even give me any time to get into this. We have 6 just jumping in with the stuns and collusion, actually getting caught a little bit too far forward, and if there's blood, immediately being thrown down for Cloud9 Vortex.
Oh, no, I do have them. Oh, I don't think Ali actually updated the name of it. Okay, so we're good. Never mind.
Okay. All right, real quick. Let's see if I can get through it. We have Collusion, Jordo, and actually I'm seeing bars here. For the
barcode. Yeah.
Just barcode.
Just barcode.
Octorek and Blithhawk are going to be playing for Wild Growth.
So Collision, maybe not expecting that that 5-man stack on top of those early vents, but that's what we're talking about. I mean, these vents, these turn-ins, it's a very big spot, and you can already see the 2-man roam coming up, and Jordo just going immediately down, stuns up, could not get off that Withering Fire, and not the Withering Fire, the Banshees, and boom, he's done. He is a glass cannon at this point.
That's right. I wasn't expecting so much aggression, but now that I look at it, Brawl, Uther, that's a pretty scary combination between the two. They have the root from the Feral Wolf, I believe it is, and the of course the stun from the Hammer of Justice. That can, if you have Jaina following that up, that's more than enough damage to get yourself some early kills.
So bottom lane is going to be the snore zone at this point. It's all about this top right now because that's where a lot of the Wild Growth guys are sitting. I mean, Jordo, Blythawk, we have not really been able to set up any kind of creep highway at all. I mean, they are 100% on top of it.
That's right, and that's smart because we talked about how important that vision is going to be, especially making sure that you have control of these 2 turning points. We'll see how that plays out moving forward.
So back and forth, level 3 now, both sides. We did, of course, look at a few of the level 1 towns. The Reconstitution coming out, composite arrows here from Arvana, so they're just setting up for, you know, typical, the typical multi-shot. Man, Fan, Bobby Hankill, and Zizix right here. They really want to catch someone. It looks like they're going to catch Cigar in 1, 2, and 3.
Oh my god.
It's a KO
fast.
right there.
That was very fast. Yeah, we see Regen Master on Tyrael. I think more often than not, we're seeing them take the upgrade for the Smite to get the extra damage. They're really looking to make sure that Tyrael has that sustain throughout the team fights and just making sure that he can stay in lane as well. And that amplified healing also points towards that type of play style.
Well, he's definitely going to need that amplifying for sure. He is the only tank on the side of Cloud9. And in terms of Ethereal as a tank, traditionally, people don't really like him as a solo tank. And he just doesn't really, do the soaking. But in a map this small that's this busy, I mean, we've already got 3 kills on the board. We're not even 3 minutes in. You're not really going to need that tankiness. You just blow someone up, and, well, you remove them out of the fight. You can win a 5v4 with Ethereal tank.
Yeah, if you guys set that up as fast as they've been doing it, it's going to be hard-pressed for Wild Growth to try to pick and choose the right opportunities to go in. I wonder if the answer is for them to get aggressive and to really start having some heavy rotations to gain back that map control.
Well, they definitely don't have any at this point. 40 compared to the 9 for the turn-ins. Collusion in the mid has been, soaking, but that's about all I can really say about that. Jordo has gone a little bit from the top to the mid. He's spreading out the dagger, the dots. I don't want to call it the space days. I'm going to try to avoid that. Collusion, however, is going to take a dirt nap right there once more. The immobile nature of, the Zagara, the Diablo, they don't have these escapes, and Cloud9 has just been taking them home.
I also want to point out the double Envenom that they managed to pick up as well with Jaina and Thrall. That is an infallible amount of burst damage that they have, especially with those.
So they've turned in Mr. QB.
They have. We're going to see the impact that these web weavers have. There we go. And of course, these, you can see the little ghosts they're flying towards. And they go to your, I believe it's your furthest pushed minion wave, and they assist from that point forward. And like I was mentioning before, they do have fairly low HP pools, and it looks as though they're going to split up their focus, Cloud9 Vortexes, and trying to defend them.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to put most of their efforts in the top and the mid. Bottom, has a Valley here. And she should be able to do really quick work there. But we also got these Bruisers pushing into the mid as well. And because of all the difference, level 7 now attained. Bobby Hankill on the other side of this gate. The gate is still holding strong, but he's really dishing that damage on top of Collusion. It's enough, however, to get that gate down. He's not going to be any kind of a danger. And the push just continues on 8 to now almost 7. For the double difference. Those kills have really made a big difference this early game.
Yeah, and they're really pushing into this mid lane. I don't think they're going to be able to get a fort off of this, especially with the triple representation from Wild Growth. They're starting to really pile the damage onto it. Oh, and the Mule!
Mule!
A chance to talk about that, yep.
Well, they just skilled it, yeah. Looking at Collusion, he's low hit points. He cannot go back into this one. They looked like they tried to grab a kill on top of Fan, didn't quite work. The Web Weaver into the top didn't really get so much work done. The bottom, however, did take out the gate, and we did push into the fort here in the mid as well. So Cloud9, they're doing some, again, really big aggression. They are keeping up with this this map control. They have already turned in another 16. So, I mean, 66 as a turn-in compared to just the 9 so far here from Wild Growth. They really need to get one of these turn-ins. They got 56 to their name. They have enough for a turn-in, but 24 of those are on this Vala, and come level 10, there could be a Tyrael coming for him.
That's right. Yeah, it just goes to show that the early aggression is really paying off this particular map in terms of its strategy. We'll see if that plays forward in some of the other sets that we catch today, but I'm a big fan of it so far, and it's sort of what we expected to see, but man, is it really working out for them. For Vortex, of course.
Now, we've seen this actually a few times, not on this map per se, but in and amongst the world. Zagara has triple creeps, and wow, actually, I saw, oh my god, the Vala just lost 30-something gems in that bottom. That vent, man, you can never underestimate that vent. Thrall came in right behind her, took her to town, and just walked out the front gate.
Yeah, that is a rough amount of gems to lose, because at this point they really need to be looking forward towards getting their own turn in, trying to really push back Vortex to gain back some of this map control. But as it is, this game is all Vortex.
100%, yeah, thus far. So yeah, triple tumors for the Zagara. She's really going for that creep highway, and unfortunately, not really too much is.
Yeah, she's got control of the top turn-in point and a good chunk of her lane, but I think that they're probably looking to have a little bit more control of that at this point. We do have level 10 for Cloud9 Vortex. We see that Sundering, the Judgment, Water Elemental, and Archon. Those are all expected, but we talked about the possibility of there being a Divine Shield, and we do have it. It's probably going to get a ton of value on either Tyrael or Thrall having to jump into that front line right into the middle of the enemy team, and we'll be paying attention to that to see how much efficacy it really has in those team fights.
There's absolutely no attempts here at just covering the tracks. Cloud9 is very, very obviously going for a boss. The problem is, like, what's Wild Growth going to do about this? They're not 10.
Yeah,
they cannot initiate into this.
That is a big deal. And until they have that point, it makes a lot of sense for Cloud9 Vortex to understand the advantage they have at this point in the map and take full advantage of it, really.
And on the back of all that, I mean, they had the web spinners, so Wild Growth is just superiorly on the defensive here. I mean, they have not really left their gates. They have actually now died behind enemy lines. Oh, there's a Maw.
Okay. And the combo going in with the APOC, is it going to be enough to get the kill on the Bobby Hankill? He doesn't really have the escape, but the Divine Shield is going to be enough to keep him alive. And how's Cloud9 Vortex going to turn this around? We see a ton of damage being thrown down from the Blizzard and Dana, and that is going to be 3 kills really quick, turning that fight around for Cloud9 Vortex. And Octoderic isn't too. That's a 4 for nothing. The streak continues for Cloud9 Vortex.
This could lead itself. It's a little early, I want to say, for a keep, but all 5 of them are up. They got a boss. There was Webweaver. It looks like it's back to dust for now. It's going to take down this gate. Like, almost guaranteed the gate is not going to live. That one tower might, but the gate won't. And, geez, 3 levels already. I mean, we just got, we just got the heroics here from Wild Growth. We just now also got 13 for Cloud9, and their synergy, the lockdown from them, I mean, it is far superior at this point.
I see the strategy that Wild Growth is going for. Of course, we saw it a little bit in that fight. They want to try to hit a big Maw, follow that up with the well-timed APOC to catch everyone coming out of that Maw with that 2-second stun. And then, of course, you can follow that up with the Silence, the Withering Arrow, etc. Is it enough? Plus the Rain of Vengeance on top of it. Do they have enough DPS? And with this level deficit, it might be difficult. They do need to hit giant Maws. We're talking at least 3 of the enemy team caught inside those Maws at this point.
Well, Wild Growth is grouping up. They really want to take these bruisers, but as you can see, I mean, Cloud9 is not really giving them an inch here. They're going to jump in on top of Collusion. That's going to be stuns and stuns. The Blizzard there. We had this, the Judgment from Tazza trying to keep Derek there at bay, and well, we got them all on top of 2. Not quite the 3 they were looking for, but oh, Bylock didn't actually pick up the gems either. Not only did they lose out on a kill, but they lose out the bruisers and they lose those gems.
Yep, that is a big deal. Of course, it probably feels at this point as though it might be like slipping away, but there's, of course, always a chance for this comeback. They just need to really, at this point, play patient, wait for their cooldowns to get back up, and try to defend as well as possible, because they still have the chance to hit that huge Maw and follow up on that with huge, big damage.
Well, we're not going to see it for a while yet.
Yeah.
Where is it? Devouring Maw, 60 seconds. The APOC is going to go down, but yeah, at what cost? They lose out Diablo immediately. Tank or no tank, he melts, man.
Yeah. And on top of that, losing the Diablo is rough, of course, but it's the big cooldown on the APOC now that's going to be a problem. It's now out of sync with the rest of the heroics, so they have to wait even longer without being able to take a fight, and this course, Vortex knows that they have this giant advantage, and they're going to press it. They're going to take this mid fort, and they're probably going to look to continue this aggression that they have. We do see the judgment being thrown. Wow, Zagara dying almost instantly.
Yeah, that's so, you know, Tyrael, a lot of people say he can't solo tank, but I maintain if you can just kill someone straight out from an ultimate, you won't need to really tank.
Cut that damage out, and you know, if you can take one of their 3 damage dealers out of the fight, well, it's okay that you have a slightly lower health pool than the rest of the tanks. He does have that shield, and he's of course got the amplified healing, backed up by the healing from Uther. We didn't even talk about this. They didn't even grab a healing ward. They're just feeling so confident with the aggression that they have, and it's been working out wonders for them.
It's the mental acuity, and again, you know, information is key. It's such a small map,
Really
and 15 seconds reduction on the cooldown of Oroco. I mean, Syracuse has been spamming it. It takes out the creep tumors. It charts the movements of Wild Growth. It keeps them from turning in. Blue Web Weavers are descending for the third time. I want to say.
Third one. Yeah,
Mr. Kubi, and I mean, we have yet to even really maintain any kind of consistent gems on the side of Wild Growth.
Yeah, I don't even know how many they've turned in, but it's obviously not been even.
I saw 9.
9 at one point, which is that's unfortunately not very good for them. And we're going to see how they attempt to keep this defense rolling. But that is a tight court. Okay, they have 2 people caught in the maw. What is it? They have the APOC follow-up. The Rain of Vengeance might be a little bit too early, and Tazza just jumps in, eliminates the Bala. Do they have the positioning? We have Bobby Henkel actually getting a whiff sundering, but is it going to be enough for Wild Growth to turn this fight around? We see the cleanse to get Tazza out of that situation, and it's going to be another convincing win for Vortex at 3-0.
It's 16-0 overall, Mr.
Yeah.
We have
the
a
levels.
flawless right now game.
Yeah, this is it is going to be hard pressed for Wild Growth to come back here, especially with the aggression on all 3 lanes from the map objective. They're going to take a very easy keep here with so many members of Wild Growth down for the count.
We got the Siege Giants into the bottom lane there as well to go with these Web Weavers, and you know, towers and towers and towers. We got the Celestine talents. Double blood for blood is now going to be thrown into the mix here for Cloud9 Vortex. We got the vulnerability. No, it's the root. The numbing blast. I guess say, hey, well, if you can't run away, then it's much easier to kill you. And yeah, Benediction coming up.
They got the extra lockdown too with Benediction. That of course allows you to, I'll say like it's a mini rewind. You activate it and it lets your next use basic ability. While I'm talking about this, Tazza leaps in for another judgment. Really
she died before the second Blizzard wave.
Yeah.
That's pretty insane. We got the stun now. Jordo is going to be the big target after that sundering. Bobby Hankill just seeing that opportunity. 4 levels difference, and that's going to be the first keep. The second keep won't quite be the third. The little mule's working away on it, but if they're going for boss, this could be the death push.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. They're taking the more passive route, if you want to call it. Their general strategy passive has been incredibly aggressive this whole game, but it has been working out so well for them. They pick and choose the exact right moments. They know they have the level lead advantage. That gives them a ton, just in general in stat points, not only the talent tier with the extra blood for bloods, they have so much more lockdown with that Benediction, and the root of Jaina is just, how do you get away from this?
Jaina's so confident, in fact, that she does not have sprint at 13 or ice block. It's icy veins.
Yep, they were paying attention to how the map was, how the game was going at this point. They said, we don't need it. We've had so much success with how the team fights have been going, and we don't see that changing anytime soon. We're confident moving forward, and we'll just get that extra damage to just continue to ride this momentum.
We also have a shrink ray there from the Malfurion. So, I mean, he has that mule, he has the shrink ray, but that means it's not ice block. And as you know, we've seen him get blown up time and time again. The Tranquility ice block combo could really prolong the fight just a little bit, but you know, 4 levels down. Does it actually matter, Mr. Kubi?
Yeah, that's it's going to be okay. We do see a 2-person maw, but with the Diablo already down, there's very little follow-up to that, and the Rain of Vengeance being thrown on just 6. There's already too much damage onto the core. I think this is going to be a game number 1 for Cloud9 Vortex. And we haven't seen these guys in a little while, but they are making a case that they are still one of the huge top NA teams contending.
And that will be game number 1 in the bag, ladies and gentlemen. Cloud9 Vortex with, what, 4 levels between the 2 teams. A flawless win.
Yeah, 22-0 kill-wise.
That is absolutely a big deal, sir. And There we go. Cloud9 in their resplendent victory poses. The Jaina coming out with those icy veins. She does damage.
She did work.
My goodness.
Yeah, we can see that on the damage. But Sylvanas also, but we never got to see those team fight combos, and that's really what it was going to come down to, at least in terms of a comeback for Wild Growth. So they have some information now. They said, all right, that was very aggressive play out of Vortex. Maybe they weren't expecting that so much, even though, it is a very small map, etc. But still, they have to keep this in the back of their head, especially, we don't exactly know what map is next. But if it is, something aggressive like Haunted Mines, they can probably expect, an aggressive strategy. A lot of teams really don't like Haunted Mines all that much. So I would probably expect not to see this game played, maybe even for the rest of the day. But I wasn't expecting to see Tomb of the Spider Queen, and here we are. So
it is going to be a day of days, Mr. Corey.
Yes.
Hover, right? Hover. I got all the alliteration. So the web weavers are put to rest, and we will have to not deal with them anymore. But when we come back, guys, we will have game number 2. Wild Growth. We'll figure out what map, and we're going to get into those drafts as soon as we can. So do stick around. We will be right back. Have some hero trailers, and when we return, game 2 ready to roll. So we'll see you in a few.